Hello and welcome to a live rendition of 60-second music theory, which I'm gonna have to retcon that title because this will not be 60 seconds. This is gonna be a bit of a doozy. um, wow, that was awkward. Anyways, today we'll be discussing how to figure out what key your song is in. Let's imagine that you've written a song, a 4-chord loop, and it goes like this. Very sad, very melancholic. But how do you know what key signature your song is in? How do you know what scales to use for improvising over this? Or what extra notes to sing or extra chords to use? Well, the answer is very complicated, of course, as everything else is in life. But there is a simple way to figure it out. Usually for songs that you've written, your tonic chord, aka the one, aka the place that feels restful, will usually be the first or the third chord that you use. Let's try it for this. Well, what key signature would the song be in? Our first chord is D, E minor, B minor, and then B minor again. You could claim that it's the B minor, this chord, that feels the most at home, because we play it twice, but no. I want you to really feel the chord progression. Where do you feel the most relaxed in a musical sense? Where do you feel like, I'm home? Some of you will be saying, that first chord, the D chord, I really felt relaxed there, or I really felt that that was the tonic. But some of you will most likely say the B minor. Why? And what the fuck does this even have to do with anything regarding music in the first place? Well, to skip the chord progression, let's move on to scales in general, and keys in general. A scale is, well, a scale of notes. I played it wrong there. Or not wrong, but yes. You've most likely been taught that in music education or whatever. This is a C scale. Usually, you can play any chords that use the white notes over this. And it'll sound fine. But what if you're feeling more adventurous than the C chord? How do you determine what a D scale is, for example? Well, the complicated answer is a major scale, aka, but in other keys, is a followed by whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. What does that mean? You'll probably learn that later. So in the meantime, it's easiest to visualize this and then move all of the notes up one step. So this is in the key of C. If we want to be in the C sharp key, let's move all of the notes up one semitone. So the C goes up to C sharp, the D, D sharp, E goes up to F, F goes up to F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C. That is a C sharp scale. Do you see how by just taking the C scale and moving it up one step, we've now come to a C sharp scale? There's a pattern to this, and that pattern is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. But what does key mean? And what's a key signature? I know what a scale is now. Sure, I know what a major scale is. And I can use this pattern to figure out, oh, that's a D1, E flat, and so forth, by just moving it up semitones. But that's annoying. I don't want to have to figure out how to play a G scale by going C and then moving all the way up here. That's annoying. So instead there's a trick to figure out keys. On sheet music, or sheet paper, usually, like this one right here, Scrapple from the Apple, which is a lovely jazz tune, of course. It's a bit hard to tell, but there is one flat in between these markings. It's a bit hard to see on camera, but there is one right there. What does that mean? I know that it's a key signature, but what does one flat mean? Well, if you take this structure, one flat means that one of the white notes are getting lowered. But that doesn't mean just anything. You can't just lower this and boom, you're in a one flat. No, instead, you go from C, which is 0 flats and 0 sharps, and if you go up 1/5, a perfect fifth, and you build out a scale from there, you're now in a 1 sharp territory, and that 1 sharp lands there. This is a G scale. By continuing to go up perfect fifths, so C, G, D, A, E, and then looping back around, B, F sharp, and then C sharp, and then we go to the Jesus Christ, G sharp, and you continue like that. It just continues going, like, well, until we loop back around. You'll just continue to add sharps. So for example, 1 sharp, you would go from C. This is 1 sharp, and you also have to add the 1 sharp. So you play only white notes, and then the 1 sharp lands there. So this goes up 1 step. Fucked it up, but yeah. If you want to go 2 sharps, C, go up a fifth, and then from G up another fifth. This is D. Play all the white keys, and then you have to figure out where the sharps land, and in this case it's here. Now, where specifically the sharps land, there is no specific way of figuring out. You will have to just learn all of the scales yourself by practicing a lot. Sadly. You will not get anywhere in music if you don't spend, well, hours practicing. So in order to find scales, yes, you will have to search up the scales and learn them by hand. But back to the chord progression. Do you see it? I bet you don't, because I'd be surprised. If we assume that this song is in the key of D, then all of these chords in this have to align with the scale of D. So let's say, for example, the song is in D. The scale of D major is, boom, right there. These notes. I know you can't tell entirely, but just try to bear with me here. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Let's go back to the chord progression. It's a D chord, of course. D chords are in the scale of D, and you can tell it's the 1, the 3rd, and the 5th of a D major scale. E minor is the 2nd, 4th, and 6th note of the D major scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom, there's an E minor. The B minor is the 7th. Or actually, is it? No, it's the 6th, 8th, and 3rd. And 8th is also the 1, of course, because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And then we're back at the D. So 1 and 8 are the exact same. So let's reiterate. If we're in the key of D major, the D chord is the 1, 3rd, and 5th of the key. The E minor chord is the 2nd, 4th, and 6th. And the B minor is the 6th, 1st, aka 8th, and the 3rd of the D major scale. Meaning that if you really wanted to, you could improvise in the key of D over this. But what did I say in the beginning about some people resonating with the B minor instead? If the song truly is in the key of D, shouldn't B minor not feel like a resolved tone? This is where it gets mildly confusing and a bit too much. But the key D major has the same notes as B minor. Major and minor. There's a clear distinction between the two. A major scale, as I've said multiple times now, is built by whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. A minor scale is whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole, half. This is a C minor scale. You can see that the 3rd, 6th, and 7th note have gone down 3 flats, which means that C minor is actually 3 flats. But what does this have to do with the D and B minor feeling equal? Well, this chord, D major, has these notes in the scale, correct? Whilst B minor has these notes. You may have not caught that, but those are the exact same notes. The only difference is that in D major you start on D, and in B minor you start on B. Otherwise they're the exact same. So, unless you have a really happy sounding song, like kind of like you know, I didn't use B minor there at all, so obviously the song is not in the key of B minor. But if you have a really sad song like obviously I didn't use the D key here at all, and the song feels very melancholic, so it's in B minor. But this, the chord progression, I don't know. They can be interpreted both ways. I start on a D, meaning the chord progression feels very powerful, but then it kind of fades at the B minor. From a theoretical standpoint, whichever key the song is in, either D major or B minor, doesn't really matter. You'll be using the same scales to improvise. But still, it's a bit difficult. On papers, D major and B minor are listed as the exact same key. But they totally aren't. But at the same time, they really are. In terms of feeling, B minor is way more sad, which is why it's minor. At least in our Western interpretation of music. But if your only goal is to improvise, then yeah. All you really have to check is if the chord progression follows a specific key. Just take a look at the first chord, or maybe the third chord, and then figure out the scale from that, and then fact check if that scale sits well with the chord progression. The second best alternative to that is listen to the song repeatedly and try to feel where it feels the most home to you. Which chord feels like home. And then search up that scale and do the same thing. This song's in the key of D. It's a lot to take in, so I don't blame you for not understanding anything I just said. There's a great tutorial by Andrew Chong, I'll link it in the description, where they also include exercises and extra things to note. So I highly recommend checking that out if you're still confused, which I bet you are. Anyways, I stream almost every day at twitch.tv/RussandLive. I don't do music theory lessons on there, don't worry. So they're not as boring as this, but yeah. See ya.